So let's backtrack a little bit. 2020 Democratic debate. Actually, I'm going to pick it up where we are. Let's go forward with what do we see? Andrew Yang. You're telling me young people are saying Andrew Yang is popular. He's currently looking at 0.8% in popularity, which has recently popped up because he's going to be on the stage. And in terms of predicted, he was listed as being at about 11 cents. So let me ask you.
Why?
Why? Why does anyone care about Andrew Yang?
All right, so here's my theory on it. Why do you think Bernie Sanders was so popular last year?
Because he was talking about socialism, and that's what kids have been taught about for the last 20, 30 years.
Free stuff.
Yeah, free stuff.
Andrew Yang is promising the same thing, except just free money. Universal basic income. UBI.
Oh, you mean like the Obama stimulus?
Yeah, but...
Free money. You're going to, like me, you get free money.
$2,000, I think he said, for everyone per month or something like that to live off of.
Andrew Yang?
Yeah, Andrew Yang is...
1,000.
1,000. That's still a lot of money, and that's free money. He is literally promising free money to his supporters and everyone.
But he's not. Actually, I've listened to Andrew Yang, and I've paid attention to what he said. And yeah, he says universal basic income. If you hear UBI, it's universal basic income. And he's basically saying that, okay, everyone in the nation should get $1,000. Period. That's what he says. And then, after he says that, which gets the headline, which gets the quote, which gets the 30-second soundbite, which I hate, he then turns around and says, oh, but not everyone gets that. Now, if you make too much money, you don't get $1,000. If you're getting government aid, you don't get $1,000. You have to be in this sweet spot of making some money, but not making too much money, of getting maybe some government help, but not enough government help to be able to get $1,000. So basically, he's using people. He's playing with the numbers and the impressions and the headlines.
But who's going to pay attention to the second part once they hear
money.
Exactly. And I think that's why he's getting more and more popular. And that's why I think when he goes to the debate stage, his numbers are at least going to boost.
Do you know how much it's going to cost?
Oh, I'm not saying the policy is good in any way, shape, or form.
$3.1 trillion.
Oh, absolutely.
That's his number. That's his estimate.
Absolutely. No. But I think at this point, a lot of young progressives and millennials just don't care about the debt. I care about the debt. It's an issue I care about, but people just aren't thinking that far ahead.
Do you want to pay $2,000 for a loaf of bread? I mean, it makes a difference, folks. It's a big deal. And it does have a consequence. And he's talking about, well, we're just going to give where's the money coming from? The government doesn't make anything.
No. And, young progressives and stuff like that, they don't think that far ahead from what I've seen. The ones I've debated and talked to who like Andrew Yang, I'm like, who's going to pay for this? That's exactly what I ask them. But they can't come up with it. And I think the majority, once they see him on that debate stage, I think his numbers are going to increase.
I don't think so. Now, just in case you hadn't heard, or if we screwed up with the technology here, which is quite possibly my fault, and I will stick with that. So let's go over on Wednesday, June 26th, there's going to be on the debate stage Cory Booker, Elizabeth Warren, Robert O'Rourke, sometimes called Beto as a fake Hispanic, Senator Amy Klobuchar, former Representative John Delaney, Representative Tulsi Gabbard, former Housing Secretary Julian Castro, Representative Tim Ryan, New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio, and Washington Governor Jay Inslee. Now, this lineup right here is actually quite interesting because there's only one person, actually there's two people who are actually depending on how you want to look at it. There's a couple of names that are of importance, but not quite. So the big winner here, the big person is Elizabeth Warren. And Elizabeth Warren's important because she's the number 3 spot in the race. Okay? According to Real Clear Politics and everything we've seen, she has been on the rise. She is the big woman who's going to be and this is why she was part of my prediction back in October. She's currently at 11.8% throughout the nation. That is an increase. She spent most of the time at about 9%. She suddenly gained about 2% because she's going to be on the stage. She's the one who's dominating on Wednesday. It is the first night. A bunch of people are going to check it out because it is the first night. It's 2 hours. And she's going to be able to have the stage. Everyone else on the stage is going to be trying to take her down, as well as making some reference to Joe Biden, right? So given that that's the reality that we see there, the next big person on there on the stage with Elizabeth Warren on that night has got to be Cory Booker, who is currently running around 2.3% and has consistently stayed at that level. So that hasn't changed. So he's not a big threat, if you can call him a threat at all.
No.
Beto O'Rourke, if he's a threat at all, he's been sitting around 3.5% forever. I mean, he had the initial spike, like, hey, I'm the guy who lost to the guy who lost to President Trump. Wow, this is great. We love him. I mean, and that literally, folks, that is the claim to fame of Robert Beto O'Rourke. He has two claims to fame. He's a fake Hispanic, and he lost to Ted Cruz, who lost to President Trump. So there you go. He's the guy who lost to the guy who actually won. And he's a fake Hispanic. Yeah. I'm excited. You know, I just don't get it. Okay. And so he's been at 3.5%. So again, no real threat to Elizabeth Warren. The next name that actually has any importance is Mayor Bill de Blasio, because he's mayor of New York City. And you know what? Who cares? 76% of New York State hates him. I don't think he's going to do, if his home city, which is one of the biggest cities in the world, can't stand him, the state can't stand him, no one thinks he's doing a good job except him, I can't imagine that he's going to do okay. I can't imagine that he's going to go further.
I don't think he will at all.
So she wins that. She's going to dominate that night.
No, I think she's probably going to come out ahead.
Is there any way that anyone in that group, besides Elizabeth Warren, does anything to Biden or to Sanders?
I think probably Biden's the easiest to attack because he is the front runner. So I think they're going to target him. He has the most political record that you can probably attack him.
You think they attack Biden instead of Warren because she's on the stage?
I think
she's
so.
The one on the stage. He's not.
I think they're still going to go after him, even a little bit. I think they're going to bring up his flip-flopping a lot.
Well, yeah. There definitely are. I mean, and each one of the candidates is going to get somewhere around 6 minutes of time. If it's perfectly even, which it won't be, and it's going to be heavy on Warren and on, what's his name? Booker. Those are the two big names there that are really going to get, maybe Beto as well. They're going to get most of the time. But everyone should get about roughly 6 minutes, about 2 to 3 questions each. Everyone should get at least 2 to 3 questions. The big people are going to get more. The little people get 2 or 3. So here's the question. Do they make enough of an impact to change the status? Warren, I could see her getting to 12, 15%, somewhere in there. But I don't see that Booker, who's at 2.3, I don't see him doing anything better. No. And I don't see anything better happening with Mr. Beto O'Rourke. So I truly tell you, folks, I just don't see that improving. It's not going to change. But I could be wrong. Now, looking at the next night, and let's take a look at that again. On the second night, and this is the problem because they're going to lose a lot of people. I think they're going to lose a lot of people going to a second night. But on the Thursday, June 27th, they're going to have Bernie Sanders, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, Pete Buttigieg, Michael Bennet, Marianne Williamson, Eric Swalwell, Kirsten Gillibrand, Andrew Yang, and John Hickenlooper. So, as we were just saying, and we've been discussing, we know that Andrew Yang and Kirsten Gillibrand, non-existent. They can't even get 1% anywhere in the nation. This is their moment to shine. They're going to get 2 to 3 questions, roughly 6, 7 minutes. maybe a little bit more for Senator Gillibrand, that they're going to get about less than 10 minutes to make themselves stand out. Do I think that they're going to stand out? Probably not, because they have nothing to offer. Again, you've got only thing from Yang is that he's going to give people free money, and the only thing that you get from Gillibrand is all women, all day, all the time. That's it. That's all you've got. That's the summary of their campaigns. And she, in particular, owes Booker a lot of favors. So I don't know that she can move forward, as well as she lied to the public. So I don't see those two doing very well at all. Let's see. Who else is in there? So the big race is going to be, of course, between Biden and Sanders, and they have to somehow show that they are not rich, old, white men, even though they are rich, old, white men. For a party that hates rich, white, old men, I don't see how they're going to be able to survive. I've said this from the day that Biden got in. I've been saying this about Sanders since October. I will tell you, I do not see the Democratic Socialist Party supporting, even though he's a socialist, I do not see them supporting Bernie Sanders. I do not see them supporting Joe Biden. Biden is not extreme enough. He never was. He's a total gaffe machine. He has no respect by millennials. He is not their guy. And we're going to see that fail. And looking at Sanders, he is too old. He makes too much money. He has never done anything. He's never accomplished anything. I'm talking about as a senator over 30 years. He hasn't done anything. He hasn't advanced anything. And the only reason why he's really getting a lot of attention right now is because we know for a fact that in 2016, the Democratic National Committee rigged the election, rigged the primaries, so that he would lose to Hillary Clinton no matter what. You could have had every single millennial vote and no one else vote whatsoever, and Hillary Clinton was still going to win. They didn't care. Democrats didn't care. You want to talk about collusion, you want to talk about rigging elections, you want to talk about interfering with the voice nullifying voters, well, that's the Democratic National Committee. That's what they did. That is a fact. They did that. So Bernie Sanders' only lifeline here is he's the guy who survived that, who had to go through that, and he deserves a fair chance. Now, that's his big claim to fame. He's the guy who made democratic socialism popular. He's the guy who said that America needs to become Venezuela before Venezuela started killing their citizens. Before we saw Venezuela use the fact that people didn't have firearms to go around running them over with cars and starving them to death. So that's what we're seeing with that. So do I think that on Thursday, and let me bring it back to you, John the intern, of the choices of Biden, Sanders, and and Kamala Harris, who do you think is your big pick?
To win it, that debate, I think it's going to be probably Biden. I think so. And I was talking to you, Bernie, I think, is not going to do it. I don't know. There's just, I think a lot of his supporters have left him a lot more than...
Is there anyone in the millennial faction? How do people feel about Buttigieg? Because, I mean, he's basically come out of nowhere, and his big claim to fame, unless I'm mistaking it, I've listened to what he's had to say, and his big thing is, I'm gay. That's it. That's the box he fills for the Democratic Socialists. That's his little category, because everybody on this list fills basically one, maybe two categories. That's it. So his claim to fame is, I'm gay.
I think he appeals to more moderate Democrats I've talked to, and even some conservatives I've talked to, some moderate Republicans.
Really?
Yeah,
Why?
I think so. Either they're never Trumpers or something like that, and they just think he's somewhat intelligent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me ask a question. Can they name anything he has ever done?
Probably not.
Can you name anything he's ever done?
No, not other than...
Then that means that's crap. That means that... And let's be honest, folks. If you can't name something that a candidate... If you're telling me, I support Bernie Sanders, fantastic. Why? If you can't answer that, then you're just talking about a headline and you have no idea what you're talking about. If you say Pete Buttigieg, you can say Kamala Harris. I don't care. You can name any candidate you want. I don't care who it is. You can say President Trump. If I say, okay, great, why? And you go, then you actually have no idea what you're talking about. You're going by headlines, and that's not valid. Mm-hmm. So when I hear people say, well, I love Pete Buttigieg, the only thing I can point to that he's done of any true worth or value is I'm gay, and that's it. That's his selling point. Just like Andrew Yang's selling point is I have the universal payments.
Basic income.
I'm going to give you free money. Okay, so Pete Buttigieg wants to be gay and powerful, and Andrew Yang wants to give people free money, sort of, kind of. And Kamala Harris is black.
Well, Kamala Harris is probably the most disliked out of the progressive candidates by progressives.
See, that's something that a lot of people haven't talked about. What is wrong with Kamala Harris?
I like to think she has the Ben Carson approach. So,
What?
Do you remember in 2016 election?
Yes.
Ben Carson claimed that he stabbed someone or got stabbed, or do you remember this claim?
No, not the stabbing thing, no.
Well, he claimed it and got called out by the media because it wasn't true.
I would imagine so, because
Yeah,
I do not remember that.
It's Ben Carson, right?
Okay.
Kamala Harris tries to appeal to the younger generation, specifically, and she got very called out on social media and all these major news networks about listening to Snoop Dogg and NWA and all these kind of hip gangster rap.
Oh, before they ever became popular.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone called her out for it.
Yeah.
Not to mention, her policies haven't been consistent. I know a lot, and I know a lot of people and especially progressives. They think she's law enforcement. I was telling you a little bit before, our college progressives had an article about her called Why Kamala Harris is a Cop, and they just repeated the sentence, Kamala Harris is a cop, 3 times to start the article.
She was actually a district attorney.
Exactly. No, they got it wrong, but the sentiment still stands.
Law enforcement, all the same, yes.
Also, they really don't like her truancy policy. For school truancy?
What's her truancy? I've never paid attention to truancy.
Exactly. So, as a district attorney, she had a policy where she wanted to implement a policy where parents would be punished if their kids repeatedly skip school.
The parents are punished?
Yes.
How do you okay, wait a minute.
For not enforcing that your kids go to school.
How do you punish the parents? Well, first of all, the government doesn't have the right to do that, so I should say that. But how does the government punish a parent for what their kid is doing?
Mm-hmm. What should I call it? Here, let me pull up.
And by the way, as for Ben Carson, it's that Ben Carson stabbed someone.
Yes.
I found a bunch of articles on it. So, oops, the wrong thing. Nope, that's it. Here it is.
It made it a criminal misdemeanor in 2011. Peoples had been arrested for, this is from Huffington Post.
Oh, God. No, find another source.
You got it.
Huffington Post is, they are, come on, folks. Let's be honest. I may be right-wing. They are beyond democratic socialist left, okay? I don't quote Fox News. I'm not going to quote. We're not going to quote and use an article from Huffington Post.
So what it is she expressed regret. This is from Politico.
Okay.
Senator Kamala Harris is expressing regret for championing a truancy law during her time as California Attorney General that threatened parents with prosecution if their kids miss too much school.
See, and that doesn't make sense to me.
Mm-hmm. So, and what college progressives claim is that law would hurt the lower class individuals and people in lower class areas who can't get their kids to school.
Why? Because white people don't cut school? White kids don't cut school?
No, but
actually, I would think they would be able to cut school better and easier. They got a car, they got money, they got somewhere to go.
Exactly, and it would just be punishing the parents of the parents who can't afford to get their children to school. So, and that is a big, big problem, especially with progressives I know.
When we got school buses, we got school bus passes.
Oh, absolutely. No, absolutely.
The problem's not getting the kid to school. The kid doesn't want to be in school. And that's a question of culture. In particular, talking of the black culture, African American, everyone wants to go, it's black. The black culture in America says it's bad to be intelligent. It's one of the reasons why they didn't like Tim Kaine Herman Cain or Ben Carson or Michael Steele. They were against these guys because they were intelligent. The idea is you want to be a rapper, stupid, a criminal, and that makes you good. That's the culture. So to tell me that the problem is, well, parents can't get these kids to school. No, it's the kids are being told they shouldn't be smart. There's your problem.
Right. But this is what progressives are absolutely heated about. And it kind of gives off an era of fakeness to Kamala Harris.
Okay.
And I know, like I said, a lot of the progressives absolutely despise her for it. Just lying about things, like silly things, like you said, the rap albums and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And just having policies like that where they completely disagree and they feel this way about, it's on her record, and I know for a fact they're going to attack her for it.
Well, they might. I know for a fact that she's starting to have a little bit of she's been running dead even, slightly ahead of or dead even with Pete Buttigieg. And now she's starting to fall back. He's starting to rise up. Now, that brings up another question that I have when it comes to dealing with the gender identity politics. Can you pick, is it racist to pick a gay white man over a black female? Because this is the issue this is the issue that goes right to the Biden and Sanders thing. They're rich white men, right? So you can't pick them because that's gender identity politics. That's just wrong. That's what we're told by all of, the Democratic Socialists, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, all of them. So throw those two out. So that means you have to pick a woman and or someone of color. Or do you pick someone who's gay? And depending on where you have the gender identity politics rankings of any day, and I wish they would actually publish that so people would know, today we are picking, transgendered. Tomorrow is going to be black females, especially black female lesbians. I mean, if she suddenly said that, if Kamala Harris were to come out and say, well, actually, even though I was sleeping with men to get my positions in politics, I've actually always been a lesbian. She would now be a lesbian black woman, and she would beat everyone because she has more checked boxes than any of them. I mean, that's my understanding of it. That's the way it seems that it goes on the politics on the left. So can you pick Elizabeth Warren, a straight white, she thinks she's an Indian, but she's not an Indian, liberal, rich woman. I mean, you get $400,000 to teach one class. Yeah, you're rich. She's $400,000, white, thinks that and she uses ethnicity to get a personal advantage. So she's using the minorities of the nation. Do you vote for her? Do you vote for Pete Buttigieg, who is he lives a comfortable life. He's white, he's gay, and really has no other accomplishment. You've got Kamala Harris, who is black, a female, member of the Senate, has done nothing, and slept her way up to the top. You have Cory Booker, a fake Hispanic, who lost to the guy who lost to the guy.
Oh, you mean Beto O'Rourke?
Oh, I did it? Oh, sorry.
You said Cory Booker, yeah.
I'm sorry, Beto O'Rourke. The fake Hispanic who lost to the guy who lost to the guy. Or do you pick Cory Booker, who is just a black male, period? He's a senator, also done nothing, but his big claim to fame is, I'm black, I'm a guy, and I'll pick a woman as my vice president. Do any of those things sound appealing?
Not unless they have policy to back it up, but on the left, that doesn't matter.
Well, none of them have policy.
No, none of them have policy.
Well, Biden has had some policy because he was vice president, and his policy was, and his answer is, let's go back to higher taxes, fewer jobs, and hurt the nation, which I think is absurd.
And shoot a shotgun in the air to ward off intruders.
Oh, yeah.
Probably my favorite from Joe Biden.
No. Come into my house, you're not getting, the ceiling's not getting shot. Unless you somehow fly, it ain't happening.
No. But the left has created a hierarchy of this trumps this trumps this is where everything
but I don't know how to rank it. I mean, do black females rank higher than gay men.
Yes, I will say, according to people like Vice and Vox, which are the main news sources for the left, there is apparently a problem in the gay community with white male.
So he's white, male, and gay. That's not good enough.
No,
So being black and female is good enough.
that trumps it. Yes.
Okay. What about being black and male? Is that better?
No, actually, they're slightly above white gay men.
Oh, okay. This is, I'm telling you folks, you need a flow chart for this to figure it out. But sadly, we don't have more time. Mm-hmm. This is something that's not going to end, and we're going to have more conversations about this coming up very, very soon. So what we'll do is we look forward to seeing you at our next episode. There may be a change in our schedule. We'll let you know more about that as we confirm it. But until then, give us your feedback. Let us know what you think, and we'll talk to you again very, very soon.